All right, so if you're like me and you're a Sony fan, you own a PS5 or PS4, what have you, you've probably been waiting for games for a while, but it looks like 2024 is about to deliver and deliver big because Sony just had a state of play, and man, did they show off some really cool stuff. I'm LittleBobby here with Direct Gaming, and we're talking about the January 31st, 2024 state of play by Sony and everything that they showed off. I'm going to try and get through this as quick as I can, but if you're brand new here, make sure you hit subscribe. Like the video, that helps us out. And if you don't like the video, leave us a dislike and let us know in the comments what we can do better in the future. So this started off just showing off Helldivers 2, showed off some of the customization, some of the new gameplay, and then it went right to Herman Hulst, who talks about the first 3 years of the PS5, and he announces that they're going to be talking about titles coming, including some announcements. Now, one of the first things they showed was Stellar Blade, and it had a really deep look into like how the story's gonna work. It showed like the characters Adam and Eve, right? There's huge skill trees in the game. You can upgrade your equipment. Overall, the visual style of this game is absolutely beautiful, and I think that this is gonna be a really big showcase title for PS5. This is one of those ones that's gonna be like, people look at it and go, oh, that's a good reason to get a PS5. It looks like kind of like an action RPG. Very cool, but we'll have to see more as it comes out. Then they went right on to Sonic X Shadow Generations, right? So if you played Sonic Generations some years back, it's kind of where you do the 3D Sonic Adventure or Sonic Frontier style, or the 2D traditional Sonic style. And now they're bringing out one of those with Shadow. I don't know if it's going to be like the original Sonic Generations, and then it's going to have shadow courses just added, but the shadow courses do look really cool. They're obviously all 3D because Shadow came in the 3D era, and they all look kind of like dark themed, creepy themed for Shadow. So I think that's a really cool addition for Sonic fans out there. After that, Zoneless Zen Zero. This is a new one from MiHoYo, who are like, you know, the gacha masters of the modern day. They've really just mastered that whole system, and it's really impressive that they just have, you know, kept 2 games going, and now they're going to add a 3rd. It's almost assuredly a gacha because of how well Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact have done. They're absolutely going to do that. It's very likely again to be a PS exclusive along with PC, but we'll see kind of how that goes as it comes forward. Next was Foam Stars. This one is coming out. This was a very simple hype trailer, like, hey, this is coming out soon. It's coming out in about a week, February 6th. It's going to be free if you are a PS Plus subscriber, and I believe if you're not, it's going to be $30. And it's looking like they're trying to fill that like Splatoon space, a kind of very fun, casual, party shooter style game that you can play and just do that. But since they don't have Splatoon, they're trying to do that for PlayStation. Next up, Dave the Diver. This was pretty cool. It's getting a release on PlayStation. I don't believe it's on PlayStation, but it was a really big indie game last year, and it looks like it's getting a release as well as a Godzilla themed DLC that's going to be coming in May 2024. After that, we saw V Rising. This one looked pretty cool. Isometric kind of top down, quick melee magic stuff, very fast paced combat. I thought this looked like a really cool game. A very awesome just art style. This kind of thing I like. I like these like isometric games, right? They're very cool in my opinion. So I'm going to be definitely checking this one out. I'm hoping to hear nothing but good things because it looked pretty enticing from what I saw. And after that, we get Sean Benson. She came up for Silent Hill and the new collaboration or partnership, they said, with Konami, and that's starting today with the release of Silent Hill the Short Message. Now this absolutely looks to me like it's them trying to kind of do the PT thing. It's like first person, very creepy. There's a ghost following you around in the creepy hallways, lots of creepy stuff going on. I think this was like, they were like, hey, you know, the children yearn for PT, so let's do something with that. It's kind of seeming to be a resurrection of that, and it is free to play today. It's already out. By the time you're watching this, it's absolutely out. Hop on PSN, grab it. It is 100% free. Go ahead and play that if you're a horror game fan. Might check it out myself tonight, but I've got some other stuff to play. Then we saw a good long look at the Silent Hill 2 remake, and this looks very, very cool. Visually, it's stunning. The fog is there. That was one of the worries I saw a lot of people talking about. I was like, oh, what if they take out the fog? Like, the fog is Silent Hill 2, and I hope anyone actually remaking it knows that. You know, that Silent Hill 2 kind of needs that fog that really just drives the whole ambiance of the game. It does appear to be in development just for PS5. I guarantee this is going to have a PC release and very likely an Xbox release down the line. But we'll have to see. I know they're stating they have a partnership with PlayStation. It's probably that PlayStation's kind of fronting some of the development costs, and then later on down the line, they'll bring it out on the other platforms after about a year, because then PlayStation made their money, most of their money that they're going to make off that, and then you get money from the other platforms. After that, we saw Judas, and for me, this is my like game of the show because I am just a huge BioShock fan. I remember back when I worked at EA, we had a little, you know, employee blockbuster is what we called it. I forget what it was called. But you go in there, rent movies, rent games, and all that. And my buddy I worked with was like, oh, you haven't played BioShock. You need to check this game out. So I grabbed BioShock, played it. I played video games 40 hours a week minimum when I worked there. And I still went home and played that game all night. Like, I absolutely fell in love with BioShock, and I love the series. Even BioShock 2, yeah, it's the weakest, but I still love it. Visually, Judas is looking very close to BioShock Infinite. And if you don't know, Ken Levine is the guy behind the original BioShock and BioShock Infinite. He's very much known as a video game auteur who is, you know, very, very perfectionist. So this game has taken a long time to hear about, but it's looking very, very, very good so far. It does have plasmids or powers from what it's looking like, and the gunplay from the other BioShock games. It's looking like Ken Levine really is just sticking with what he knows, and I'm all for that. After that, we had some VR titles, starting with Metro Awakening. Metro Awakening looks really, really cool too. We have a PSVR 2 in the house, so I may check these out depending. But I'm not sure. I'm not great with VR because of glasses and astigmatism, but we'll have to see. It does look very Metro in terms of the art style, very gritty, grimy, post-apocalyptic monsters, and like everything you love about Metro is there. And I thought to myself, I was like, guy's got like a Russian accent, and it's looking very post-apocalyptic. This might be a Metro game as I was watching it. And it turns out it was. This is looking very, very cool. After that was Legendary Tales, and this one I thought was really promising too. After that, Asura's Wrath just came out for the Meta headsets. It's very cool to see a lot of these companies trying out the kind of action RPG with VR, because I feel like, to me, that would be the best way to use VR, is have a big, long game you can dive in and go on epic adventures and all that. It's got a lot of like that Skyrim DNA from what I'm seeing. And overall, that looks really exciting. That is one I actually really, really want to check out. Like, I may check out Metro, but I'm probably gonna check this one out because, you know, kind of nerd. I want that big like throw magic, and you know, I love seeing the break the table apart and then pull the skeleton out and then just beat it in the face. That, to me, that was like the standout moment of all the VR stuff, and one of the standout moments of this whole showcase. I thought it was absolutely looked like a blast, right? So Dragon's Dogma 2 was up next. Now, one of the things I am concerned about with this is that it is targeting apparently 30 FPS on consoles, which I'd much rather just pare back a bunch of the visual stuff and just give me 60. So if I get this, it'll probably be on PC, just for that reason alone. However, this game is visually stunning. It looks great, and it looks epic. There's just huge battles that you see all throughout this trailer, big monsters and dragons and all this stuff. And then one of the things that I've said about this, at least every time I've seen it, is like, you know, a lot of people last year wanted to love Baldur's Gate, but they just hate the traditional D&D slow turn-based combat. Some people just don't like that, so they couldn't fall in love with Baldur's Gate 3 like a lot of other people did, myself included, right? But this one might be the answer for those who are interested in an epic adventure like Baldur's Gate 3 but didn't want that turn-based combat, because from everything we've seen so far, it's looking like this is a real, maybe not fast-paced, but a real like chunky action RPG combat system that you're going to be dealing with, and that's coming out on March 22nd, 2024. After that, we had Rise of the Ronin, and this is one that I know a lot of people here in Direct are excited for. Lethal, I know, Talon, I know the editors have expressed some excitement. One of the cool things that I really liked here was the fluidity of like that, what was the Avicula glider and the grappling hook. It really made traversal look like it's just going to be fun. And one of the things about me playing games is I like traversal to be fun. I'm actually having a lot of fun with Suicide Squad right now. Is it the game of the year? No, but the traversal and getting around the city is really, really fun in that game. But that being said, look, we got to look at the combat, including the parry system, which is really cool. This does remind me a lot of Ghost of Tsushima, except it's a little faster pace, but it doesn't look as polished. So it's like kind of a trade-off, right? I thought Ghost of Tsushima's combat was extremely polished. Like it was, for a samurai game, that's probably the closest to perfect I've ever played. This looks like it's going to be really solid, but it's not going to be that polished, like on that level, but it also looks like it's much faster paced. So that's going to be cool. They also showed off some combat with firearms, and this one's also coming out on May 22nd, right next to Dragon's Dogma. So I guess it's just like, do you want to play a big epic RPG or do you want to play a samurai game? Because those are your two choices on March 22nd. Now, after that, with some creepiness, we saw the creepy dollhouse, we saw the Ballistic Moon logo, and we all kind of heard rumors about this, and now we have confirmation that it's coming. Is the Until Dawn remake, right? Until Dawn is one of those games that a lot of people love, but it's being rebuilt for the PS5. They kind of just showed a short trailer for it, which I was surprised about. It didn't seem like it was that long. But maybe it's because it's surrounded by really long stuff, because after that we got a like almost 10-minute trailer for Death Stranding 2 on the beach. Again, Kojima is using the Gorilla Decima engine, which, he said when he made the first one, like, that's the only engine that could create the thing I wanted to create. And that's really important, right? Having the right engine. We know what a bad engine can do to a game. I mean, look at like Destiny 2 or Starfield. Like, engines will hold games back. And so if you don't have an engine that can match your vision, you're kind of screwed there. But Sam Porter Bridges is back. Norman Reedus, right? He's back walking across the country, looking real to life. Like, I can't state how good the Decima engine is in terms of making things look real. All this stuff is just great, and it's got a lot of mind-bending stuff in it, just like the first game, just like a lot of Kojima stuff. The little doll guy, right? The hands on the lady's thing that cover her mouth, or that do the cigarette, right? It's just really Kojima. That's just all you can say, because Kojima makes stuff that no one else is gonna make. And it's as simple as that. So if you're excited about this one is going to be coming in 2025, but the big thing is that Kojima announced a new action espionage IP, a new game. Basically, like, he's saying, hey, this is going to be for you Metal Gear fans. It's going to be interactive, he said, similar to like a movie. And he said he's going to be hoping to transcend the line, or blur the line between video games and film. And that was basically it, except at the very end, Sony announced, hey, we're also doing one more state of play in 1 week for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on February 6th, 2024. I just got my deluxe edition order in from the Square Enix store. I'm stoked about that. I was going to get the collector's edition, but I couldn't justify $250 for a Sephiroth statue. As much as I love Sephiroth, and that statue is gorgeous, and I don't have the room for it. I just don't have room in here. So it is what it is. Overall, this state of play to me was so much better than the last one. The last one was kind of like, okay, like, all right. This one, like you see in games coming to PlayStation, right, from other platforms, we're seeing like the live services start to kick off. Helldivers is going to be a live service, and it looks really good so far. We're seeing them talking about, hey, we're making a future for everything, putting VR games in the announcements, and VR games that look really impressive. And we're seeing the big heavy hitters, the Death Stranding, the Rise of the Ronin, those ones come out really strong and just show us that Sony's still got some gas in the tank. I'm still a little worried about like where their first party is. I was hoping we would hear Concord today, see some of that, because that was a rumor that was going around. But you know, what can you do? You can't get everything you want. Once we saw Death Stranding, I was like, okay, this is it, because we've got like 10 minutes left. It's probably going to be that to fill out the time, and then the closing. And that's what it was. Overall, to me, I give this show a solid, you know, A minus. This was a really solid show. It delivered so much of what I'm looking for. Just, hey, show us that you've got something. It doesn't have to be first party. You know, as much as I would like first party to have more stuff to show, because I love first party Sony studios, some of their partnerships like Konami and the one with Kojima, like those are awesome partnerships for them to have. And I think those are bringing really strong exclusives. Not to mention Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is looking like, you know, that might be a Game of the Year contender already without even having played it. It's looking incredible, and they're doing a whole show about that next week. So let us know down in the comments what you thought of this show. We would love to talk to you about it. We do try and answer the comments when we can, and we do read all of them. So yeah, just let us know, guys. Thank you again so much, and I hope to see you soon.